Sammy Hagar.
Oh, man.
Came out last night, was asked the question about why don't you play more Van Halen songs in your circle set. He's with, of course, Anthony and the rest of the guys in the band. And he is hitting full force, man. He's 71, 72 years old. He's setting up residency at the Space Needle or whatever it's called out in Las Vegas. David Lee Roth is also going to be doing something at the Hard Rock Cafe.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, those two will be right down the street from each other. And so he's been doing, if you go to SammyHagar.com, they're playing all over the place, and he's doing birthday bashes. He's selling rum, tequila. I mean, the guy's everywhere. He's posting pictures with his mom and his dad.
I was going to say
and his dog.
His Instagram. He's all over his Instagram. I mean, much more so.
He's getting after it, man. I mean, he is as relevant now as he was when he was a solo artist, the Red Rocker days. And he's posting pictures all over the place. The Eddie Van Halen passing away of October of last year. I can't believe it's going to be a year coming up. We have to do something special on the anniversary of his death, by the way, here on the Tony Curry Radio Network. I'll do a special show on that. Obviously, I had a lot to say about that. A lot of things. He had a book that came out, I think, in 2010 where he just hammered on a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
And backed off a lot of those things. Whenever you're slamming on someone who's alive and they pass away, all of a sudden you kind of find yourself. And was talking about the Kitchen Sink tour, and then, of course, Wolfgang got in the mix, and he hasn't really had a lot to say about Sammy Hagar. The reason he said he doesn't play a lot of songs, he said, every time I play one of those songs from Van Halen, the place goes effing crazy. They love it. He said, we sold 50 million albums. Every album we had was a number one. He said, but I know that Eddie and Van Halen was trying to bury me after I left the band.
What?
And he said, basically what I'm saying is they tried to bury me like they wanted to pretend I never existed. And he said, and the reason I believe they tried to do that was not only because it wasn't amicable, but also because they brought David Lee Roth back in 1999. And so David couldn't sing my stuff because no one can sing the way I do. And it's true.
Yeah.
He can sing David's stuff, but David can never sing Sammy's stuff because David wasn't a singer. And he goes, I understood that aspect, that they brought David back, and the fact that he couldn't sing my stuff, and that they were trying to pretend that they're no longer using that. He said, but even after David left the band, there was nothing there. They didn't even recognize the music that I created for Van Halen. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you saying this? What? It went from why don't you play more, because he only plays about, he'll play Right Now, he plays Good Enough, he'll play a couple of Van Halen records, and then the most of it is the stuff that he's written with the band The Circle or Chickenfoot, and then does a lot of his solo stuff. He can stand on his own, just his solo stuff.
Yeah, but
why are you bringing this up that Van Halen buried you? Who cares?
I swear, I think there is.
He cannot answer a question without taking a shot at somebody, and that's an insecurity for me.
No, it absolutely is. And I think that, you've talked about it. Let's just say it. He's getting up in age. He's getting up in age, and what you see, for some people, it is a lack of filter, right? They're just going to put it all out there now. They got nothing to lose. They're going to put it all out there. But when I say put it all out there, it's not to put it all out there to like fix a problem or, you know what I mean? This is them. This is I'm gonna share how I feel about this. Again, not for really any purpose other than this is the yelling and screaming at your kid because it makes you feel better.
Yep.
That's it. He feels better. He put it out there, and the difference is, like you just said, with Sammy Hagar at this stage, and because of who he is, there's no consequences.
Yep. By the way, he turned 74 on August.
There's no consequence. He's 74 years old.
Yeah.
This would be like my mom going out. And so, here's the difference. If my mom went out on social media and said, because this happens in divorce all the time. When my parents got divorced, they had friends that were friends with both of them. Some went with my dad, if you will, and some went with my mom, right? And there was some resentment there. I can imagine my mom going out on social media and going, as soon as we got divorced 50 years ago or whatever, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so didn't show their loyalty to me. They tried to bury me. They never had anything to do with me, right?
Yep.
And, I'd be going, what are you doing, Mom? Why are you saying, like, what? because at this point in my life, I need to get it off my chest.
Okay.
And I think that that's what he's doing. Now, you can call it insecurity, and it absolutely is. What I think is interesting is he finds the need to tell the world.
Yeah, why?
Because I think it's because he can.
And by the way, he also mentioned the fact that Van Halen, his Van Halen days, they would not allow any of that music to be used in movies or television commercials, which obviously is a huge income stream. And he doesn't own the rights to that. And he was like, why aren't you allowing, because I think the last one they use is right now for a Pepsi commercial.
Yeah.
He's like, but they'll use the old stuff. And so he's like, why aren't you using my stuff? And I don't and again, he's a businessman. Someone else has written a book that this is really surprising. Again, whenever someone's coming out with a book, you hear all this stuff come out. We mentioned yesterday about Will Smith's book coming out November
432 pages, by the way.
Yeah. Katie Couric.
Oh, yes, I heard about this.
Has written a memoir called Going There. Has gotten some people complaining that the 64-year-old TV presenter and producer went full scorched earth, leaving no colleague, lover, or famous friend untorched. She mocks and puts down everyone from celebs like Martha Stewart and Prince Harry to industry colleagues like Deborah Norville and the late Larry King.
Wow.
Even her exes, like TV producer Tom Warner, don't escape unscathed. In the book, she blasts Stewart, whom the news anchor had previously roasted with a poem at a 1996 award ceremony, saying she required some healthy humbling. Prison will do that. To develop a sense of humor. She also went on to rip Norville, whom Couric replaced on the Today Show in 1991 for alienating viewers with her relentless perfection. She met Prince Harry at a polo match in Brazil, apparently during his wild oats sowing phase. The stench of cigarettes and alcohol seemed to, as she writes, oozed from every pore in his body. She also talked about Larry King, who, for the most part, I think is untouchable because he's Larry King.
He's been married 9 times.
Who died in January of 2021 at the age of 87. She said he was a creep. You want to talk about hitting on Tinkerbell? After going out for an Italian dinner with a TV legend who was 24 years her senior, the pair went back to King's apartment where she writes he made a lunge for her that reportedly involved his tongue and hands while she sat on the sofa. When I was like, I really like, he said, when I like, I really like. He dejectedly told her after she pushed him off. Couric recounts in the book. Her ex, Bo Warner, details was a textbook narcissist who dumped her via email after he love-bombed her with gifts. What's amazing, and I didn't realize this, you can't find her.
Yeah,
Do you know what her last gig was?
What?
She was the Yahoo Global News anchor. That was her last job in 2017. She did the CBS Evening News.
Right, I remember that.
For $15 million a year for 3 years. She was the managing editor from 2006 to 2011. The move, she writes, was unwinnable and left her feeling embattled, defensive, and misunderstood after she was fired. And basically, they're saying in the industry, she'll never work in television again. I don't think she cares. She seems like she's pretty well off.
Yeah,
she's 64.
Well, you don't write a book like that. Again, it's that same thing. It's I'm going to write a book because I'm at a place now where I don't care about what the consequences are.
Yeah. Couric will never get a job at any television network or cable channel ever again because she attacks everyone.
Fine.
She'll be stuck with her newsletter and Instagram stories for the rest of her working life, even though the book oozes of her desperation to be back on network television hosting her own show.
Yeah, or she's
it's a shame because
I love Katie Couric.
Everyone loved Katie Couric. She was cute. I don't know if the move to news anchor, I remember they changed her eyebrows.
It was
make her
sad.
Look more mean.
It was sad because, again, to me, this is one of the we weren't ready for that, which is terrible. You know what I mean? I think she did. I
agree.
We weren't ready for it. It wasn't that she didn't become less of a journalist or less of an anchor. I think it's we're used to seeing mostly white guys or with like Lester Holt with a little bit of age to them, and with women we not. Ready.
She had a great working chemistry with Matt Lauer, or at least it looked that way. And the more I think about it, now that I know both of them, the fact she's slamming people and Matt Lauer's a creep.
You got to wonder.
It's like if I go back and watch some of their shows now, I could probably look at it a little differently.
Yeah.
But it did seem like there was a genuine like there, and they played off each other pretty well.
Yeah.
I can just remember her laughs. And she just brought an element to morning television that was always perky and fun and cute and neat.
She's Jennifer Aniston.
And she was just great at what she did as a morning personality. And I don't know if she writes anything. I'm sure she has something to say about Matt Lauer in there. I'll be interested to see if she's attacking everybody, if she attacks him too. But much like your mother situation, it sounds like she just wants to get something off her chest. And maybe at the age of 64, this is her last hoorah to sell books.
Yep.
The fact that they're saying she'll never be on television again is total hoo-ha, because she will be.
Well, first of all,
she may not be on television as a news anchor or on television show.
She could start her own news YouTube channel and she'd have 50 gazillion people watching.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like in this day and age, you got a name. She could have a podcast. She may already have a podcast.
I didn't realize, and I didn't realize until I saw that she was having this book, that she wasn't even on television anymore.
Right.
I didn't know. I haven't seen Katie Couric on television in 3 years, but the fact she was the Yoo-Hoo editor, I was like, really?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that ended it amicably or she left them or she fired. But I'm like, you're talking about at one point the highest paid anchor in television news history.
Yeah.
And she just kind of fell off the face of the earth. And obviously at 64, she's got a lot left in the tank. I don't even know what she looks like anymore.
She's a little young for doing this, but again, I think I also think there's some modeling there. You look at other people who are doing it, and you're looking at other celebrities who are doing it, and other ones coming out and writing the books. And I do think that because of these, I know I always go back to this, but these other avenues of social, of media, not social media, but of media, there is much more of a transparency because, you think about when they're on terrestrial TV, they were on for the show. And even if there was some ad-libbing in there, it's the show. Well, now in this day and age, they can, hi, I'm going to the market and the bananas look fab, So I think that even...
Who does that?
Right. But I bet Kim Kardashian does. Look at this.
And we watch it too. Yeah.
Stop. But I think that even the most savvy celebrities, this way of communicating is too powerful that if you can't be calculated and be out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be filtered and be out there. So I think that for someone like her, I'm gonna tell it like it is. I'm gonna tell it in the book. What are you gonna do to me?
I'm okay with it.
Oh, I don't have a problem.
I'm sure we're getting the pre-read here, and I'm sure there's some people in the book that she does like, and does have respect for. They just pick the ones that are gonna listen. If you're gonna write a book, you might as well tell it like you feel it, like it is, because every book that's ever come out that was good about everything. And it's then boring. Write a motivational book, but don't write a memoir, because if you're going to write a memoir, tell it like it is. Sammy did it, she did it. Right. That's what sells books. And if certainly at a much different level, people have always said I should write a book.
You should.
I can tell you right now that there's some things in my book that would step on some toes, that would really disappoint some people and would hurt some people's feelings.
That's why you're not writing it yet.
When I'm 64, about 9 years from now.
You got time.
And I'm not doing it to hurt those feelings or step on toes. I'm just telling it like it is, the way I saw it. And a lot of it would be incredibly self-deprecating, because it'd probably be therapeutic, because I created a lot of the chaos that was in my life. And so I would probably do that, as opposed to her just talking about other people. Most of it would be about my exploits and the things I did in my life and how I'm trying to do things better. With a book, though, if you want to sell books, you write a book.
There you go.
Are you writing a book to tell your story because you want to get it out there and you feel better about it? Is it a legacy thing where, okay, this is end capping my life and now I've said it all
because
and I feel good about it?
I mean, there are books.
Or are you writing a book to sell copies? Well, Anderson Cooper's got a book out right now that is definitive about his family, about his aunts, his uncles. You want to talk about the Vanderbilts were not nice people.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, he's got a spicy
life. After you read that book, Vanderbilt may want to change the name of their college.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you.
Oh, I know.
And not proud of his heritage at all.
No, that's why he did the Cooper piece. That's why he went quietly and signed up. I know. But I do think, let's just talk about this quickly. I think that you said not stepping on other people's toes. You're not doing to step on other people's toes. I think that that's wrong. I think that if you're writing a book and you're just telling it like it is, and you're stepping on people's toes who've hurt you, then you're stepping on people's toes.
Yep.
Because you you have a choice to either, whether it's writing a book or telling somebody else or putting it on social media, you have a choice to either say it or not say it. It's the difference between going to that person and saying, you've hurt me, blah, 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 blah. But you write a book, you put it on social media, you tell 6 other people, you are stepping on other people's toes.
Yeah.
And that's your choice. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I don't like when people say, I'm not trying to step on toes. I'm just telling it like it is. That's crap.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You know what I mean? Because you don't have to do that.
If people, and I think people would want to know my stories, backstage adventures.
Oh, dude,
my Sam
you need to
Kinison
write
story.
a book. Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I would be telling some stories where there may be a lawsuit.
But you could right.
And so I would have to look at that and go, okay, is this is a great story. Does it need to be told? No. My Greg Allman story, my Def Leppard story. Does it need to be told? No. But would it sell books? Yes.
Right.
And so it's almost like tweeting out something and pausing for a second before you push send.
That's right.
Because once it's out, you can't take it back.
That's right.
And much like Howard Stern's Private Parts book, because obviously his illustrious career, and I don't think he's ever written another one. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's funny because when you're writing the book, the people you're attacking, in Katie Couric's or Sammy Hagar's case, they may not want to write a book. Mick Jagger was asked to write a book about 10 years ago, and he got a $50 million advance on it and had a ghost writer with him and said, you know what, I don't want to relive my past.
Yeah.
I don't want to write a book.
Right.
I don't. People like, you got to write a book. As a rock and roll, you got to write a book. You got to tell a story. He's like, I'm living my story. I don't feel the need to do that. And so, and I mean, that would be a hell of a read.
Yeah.
That would be a hell of a read. Now, I don't know if there'd be anything there that'd be titillating or fun to watch. So, but for the most part, if I'd be telling a story, most of the people I'd be talking about, they could refute it publicly, but no one would hear their voice.
Right.
They don't have a radio station.
Right.
They have a blog or an Instagram, or whatever, or they don't have the.
Well, it's also the vibe of your memoir. Like, I'm thinking about Michelle Obama's book. And she talks about some struggles that she and Barack had, but she, I mean, I don't know what her life was like, but she didn't. Right. It's not as spicy of a book as something like that.
Yeah. I just got a text from my old roommate that works over at the Christian station. He said, thanks for waiting to write your own book. I'd probably be fired. I will not, Justin, I will not put you in the book. Actually, I will put you in the book.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Don't write that book yet, because I've said some things that...
There was one night when I came back to my apartment. We were living together. It was weird because we were like, I think we were both in our 30s, and I didn't have anything going on. I had no kids, and I was living, and I just needed a place to live, and I didn't really care where I was living. I just wanted to save money, and so I called him up and said, let's just get a place. And it was like $450 a month for rent. It was great. Green Valley Apartments. And I loved me some pickled and vinegar onions and cucumbers. And so I came home.
Yeah.
I came home late after like a cucumber and onion salad, and I came home late after a night of drinking, and had a bowl of these cucumbers. And I walked into his bedroom, and he was in bed. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And I said, "Here, eat some of these cucumbers." Like, dude, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Get the hell out! And I dropped it in his bed.
That was terrible of you.
It was like he was like sleeping in a giant massengill. It was just his whole mattress. So every time, I took a picture of some cucumbers a couple weeks ago. And
I'm glad you're getting this out of the system, because we're about to go on terrestrial television, and I can just see you.
Yes.
You should air all your laundry. You got 5 minutes. I just won't say a word. You go on Fox. I want you to air it all out.
Well, do you want me to tell you my Janice Rogers story?
Not now. I want you to tell it on Fox. We don't know who's doing the interview, though. Don't do it. Because then
I can't believe you're egging me on here.
No, I'm not. Because
last time we're on Fox 6, whatever the hell it is,
That's fine.
I will say, Janice, I just want to go off the script here for a minute. Can you please recall the night we were at Frostbite back in 1992?
Stop. This is going to be a podcast. Stop.
I never did anything with Mickey.
Fine.
I was in a car race with Mike Dubberly.
Okay.
He's one of the most competitive SOBs I've ever met.
Yeah.
He ended up winning the race, and he was like in my face after the race.
He's a good guy.
I bet he also takes pictures of bananas at Publix and puts them out there on Instagram.